So everyone, yeah, we're recording this and we're recording it just for anybody who can't be here. The first part of this presentation, we're going to go over some logistics because I realize some of you haven't been to the Capitol or participated in Homelessness Awareness Day in the past. So I'm going to give you some really basic, how-to guides that for others that have visited the Capitol, you'll find pretty simple, but I've always found that it's useful to go over some of that information. And as I'm going through all of this, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. If you do put them in the chat, Craig may have to tell me that they are in the chat or ask them on your behalf. But also you could unmute yourself or ask to be unmuted and we can talk about your question. No question is out of bounds. And this is really, we're putting this on to help you navigate your way to the Capitol, to our prep session, and just make your visit as beneficial and as good as it can be for you. So I'm going to go ahead and put up my presentation. Is there a question already? I see there's something in the chat.
No, you're good.
Okay. Hey everyone, you're seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so we'll get into this homelessness awareness prep session. I'll go through these slides fairly quickly. I don't think it'll take the full hour, so we'll have plenty of time for questions. So again, please ask. All right. All right, so what is Homelessness Awareness Day? At Homelessness Awareness Day, what we try to do is get together as advocates, service providers, really anyone that is in the state of Texas working with people at risk or experiencing homelessness, get them together to meet with their legislators all at once. So if we can get, say, 150 people there that are all talking about homelessness and what we need to do to prevent and end it, that makes a big impact on the folks that are making decisions during this 88th legislative session. So that is what we're trying to do with this Homelessness Awareness Day. And we are asking you to focus on a few priorities, which I'll go over later. But it's also a time for you to talk about what's going on in your community to your assigned representative or your assigned state senator. So we're not only asking you to talk about the things that we prioritize, but we also want you to talk about the things that are priorities to you. And also, this is a great time for you to share information with them about the work you do, about your advocacy. And if you have experienced homelessness, it's a great time for you to share your experiences with lawmakers, and really primarily with the staff of those lawmakers, because that's who you really be talking to most of the time. So we just think it's important to get out there in this session early to get these priorities mentioned and meetings with your legislators underway. So as they go in and consider legislation that would positively affect those experiencing homelessness, or negative affect them, they'll vote with your visits in mind. So we did do an Advocacy 101 webinar last week, and that's really basic about how to track a bill through the legislative tracking system, how to provide testimony, things like that. And if you want to view that, there's a link to that recording on this slide deck, which has been linked by Craig in the chat, and then we can send it out later as well.
Hey, Eric, you want to go full screen just to make it a little bit easier to see?
Oh, I'm sorry. I will do that. You guys, you weren't seeing my notes.
Not yet, we weren't. There you go.
I didn't really have many notes, so you couldn't see many. Wait, do we have a question that's popped up? No, okay. So there's the link right here. You can click on that for the recording. So logistics for the day. So what I'm going to do here is, from this slide to the next few slides, I'm going to go through this relatively quick. so that we can take this part of the recording out and give it to anyone who needs just logistics for the day, sent to them so they know what they're doing when they get to Austin. And then I'll go back and go through it a little slower. So here it goes. So logistics for the day. So you can start coming to the REJ Conference Center, and we're in the central room of that conference center. You can get there as early as 9:30. You can get to Austin as early as you want, of course, but you can get to that conference center around 9:30. We're going to be starting registration, handing out t-shirts, handing out your handouts that you're going to leave behind when you visit legislators at that time. And then we're going to get started with with everything at 10:30. We have scheduled 10:30 to 11:30 to go over all of our priorities. It'll be me, Tanya Lavelle with Disability Rights Texas, and we may have a visitor from Texas Housers to talk about some of the bills they're tracking as well. So we'll go over all of that within an hour. And then what we'll do is I'll exit the REJ Conference Center and then walk across to the Capitol, and we'll enter in the north entrance of the Capitol. And I have maps and everything for you once you get into the Capitol about where to go after that. But our plan is to go from the REJ Conference Center into the Capitol down to the open air rotunda on level E2. And from there, we're going to gather together in the center of that rotunda and take a picture as a group. And from that point forward until your meetings are done, you can be meeting with legislators and going to the meetings that we have set up for you. You also can go to meetings that we haven't set up for you if you have something set up for yourself, or you could just try to find your representative or senator's office and go pop in and see if you can talk to them for a little bit. And again, you'll be talking to the staff members more than anything. Lunch on your own, you can do that after our picture in the open air rotunda. You can eat at the cafeteria at the Capitol. I will say it's pretty busy most of the time, so keep that in mind. You could exit the Capitol, go eat somewhere close by, and then come back for your meetings, whatever you want to do. And then we're hoping everyone will be done by 4 at the latest, so they can wrap up, send in their visit surveys through an app. Well, no, through a link we'll be providing you, and then head home. So that's the logistics for the day. Here's what we're asking people to do. Try to get there early to Austin, and then you can either park one of 2 places. Well, we advise you park one of 2 places. There is a Texas Capitol Visitors parking garage that it's the best place to park if you can. It's definitely the cheapest. We have a map here. In fact, we have the address, and I will put a link on that address before we send this out, so you can just click on it and link to that. But if you can park there, that's the best. That's the best place you can park. If you park there, then it's an easy walk to the REJ Conference Center. You're not walking to the Capitol. You're walking to the REJ Conference Center, which is north of the Capitol. But you can see it's only 0.3 miles. It's a pretty easy walk. You should be able to get there pretty quickly, and it is accessible along the way. If you can't park there, and there's a possibility of that because that parking garage does fill up quick, especially if there are some high-profile hearings going on. If you can't park there, the next place I would advise you go to is the Bob Bullock Museum. It is a little bit more pricey, so you will pay more to park there, but it is as close as the Capitol Visitors Garage. You can see this is a little north. It's closer to UT. What you do is then park there and then walk to the REJ Conference Center from north to the south. Again, it's pretty close. It's a pretty easy walk. If you can't park in either place, then you can try to find street parking or some paid parking around the Capitol as close as you can get. But at that point, there are not many options. You just have to try to find what you can. But hopefully you can use one of those 2 options. So that's the part that would be very useful for those coming in that aren't able to be at this meeting. So I know we might have questions. We have something in Q&A.
They were asking if we'll send out these materials via
Yeah,
email.
we're gonna
And
send it
yes,
through
we
email.
will.
Yeah. You know what? And I thought I was gonna go through it fast and then have to go back, but I don't know if I do. Does actually, let me just go through and just make sure we're good. So if anyone has questions, ask me along the way. So again, that morning, if you can get here pretty early, or if you get here the night before, that's good as well. Feel free to come and join us at the conference center as early as 9:30. If you show up at 9 or something like that, you'll probably just see us setting up. So it's no big deal. Maybe we'll even ask you to help. But we're hoping that you don't come too early, because you would just be sitting around when you could be having coffee or something like that, or taking your time driving in. Again, at 9:30, we'll be in the check-in. If you order a t-shirt before the deadline that we had established, then we'll have those for you. If you order one after, we might have to get it to you later. We'll have handouts for you in these neat little folders that'll have a script for you to use when you visit an office, and it'll have items that you leave behind called leave behinds, with information about our priorities. And then we'll go through our HAD prep session, where we'll just talk to you about who you're going to talk to and what the priorities are. And then we'll head over to the Capitol for our picture, as I talked about before. We'll be in a big group, and we'll have a lot of THN staff that can help lead people to that area before we take that picture. And then meetings will begin. And for some of you, you might be done with your meetings as early as 2 o'clock, and then you can head home or do whatever else that you need to do. And again, these are directions from where you would park, our first choice for parking, and then our second choice for parking to the REJ Conference Center. Okay. Any questions at this point? I see there's some chats, but probably those are just people saying hi. Okay.
Nothing yet.
Okay. After we get done at the conference center with our prep session, we'll walk as a group. So really, this map may not be as needed, but it's just good to have it. So you can see it's a pretty quick walk, also 0.3 miles to the Capitol. We'll likely have we'll create a line. So there'll be a little bit of a line to get in, because you'll have to go through security. If you have a Capitol pass, which I don't know how many of you do, you can go to the left of security, and there's a place you can swipe your pass. But again, we'll have THN staff with you that we'll be walking through. And so you'll walk through the north entrance of the Capitol. And then hopefully this map helps, but this is the north entrance. You'll walk, well, here it is. Here's the north entrance. Can you see my cursor? Okay. You'll walk through the north lobby, and then this is not the open air rotunda. This is the rotunda on the first floor that if you go look at it, if you've ever visited the Capitol, if you look straight up, it's really pretty. You can go there and take pictures or something if you want, but that's not where we're going to take our group picture. If you want to get to where we're taking our group picture, you either go down one of these elevators, or you go around the corner, and you have to open these doors and go down these stairs. It's probably easiest just to go down the elevators, and you'll go to level E2. If you do happen to go down the stairs, which it's an easy way to go, it's just you have to go through E1 before you get to E2. So just keep that in mind. If you go down the stairs, you have to go back north, down to E1, and then down to E2. What's confusing about the Capitol, in my mind, is that you have the ground floor, and then you have below it, you have E1 and E2 instead of E1 and E2. Normally your first floor would be on the bottom, and then your second floor on the top, but it's the opposite at the Capitol for the extension. E is for extension. Okay, so once you get down to E2, then you walk from the elevators down here, basically straight. Well, you could walk straight to where you see sunlight shining through if you want to have a real easy way to find it. But you'll walk towards the E2 400s, E2 700s that those are offices, mostly representative offices that are in either side of the rotunda, and we'll take a picture right in the center. We'll have someone up top on the ground floor that can take a picture from looking down on top of us. So again, you'll have people around, so it should be easy to find. And a lot of you will be wearing the same shirts, so that'll be another easy way to keep track of where to go. Okay, so those are the logistics. Stop me if you have any questions or ask them at the end. Just some key things. Wear things that are comfortable. You're going to be walking. Hopefully not a lot, but you will get a good deal of walking in throughout the day. We are asking people to bring their own lunch or get their own lunch either at the Capitol Cafe, cafeteria, or in one of the surrounding restaurants. And there are a lot of close restaurants. Texas Chili Parlor is close by if you want to try that. So that's kind of been around for a long time. So that's really neat. Bring any needed personal items. You will have Wi-Fi when you get in. If there happens to be a hearing going on that you might be able to weigh in on, we'll give you instructions on how to do that during our prep session. But you could even do that using your Wi-Fi if you're in the building. You could sign up for or against something, and then you could provide written testimony if you have it while you're there. But at the very least, you could sign up and sign up as for or against, and not even have to go to the room where they're holding the testimony. But you will have public Wi-Fi for anything you need to do, whether you need to check, your email for work or whatever. There are some things that are prohibited. If you click on the link, you'll see what those items are. They're what you would think. So you could just click on that. Obviously, if you don't have a permit to carry, don't come in the Capitol, don't bring any hazardous materials, things like that. Okay, so what you'll be given. So we're not asking you to bring anything but yourselves and maybe your ideas, your stories, things like that. We're going to have folders for you. They'll look kind of like this, maybe not the glossy kind, but they'll be blue with our logo on it. And inside of it, this is not how it's going to look, but inside of it, you'll have information about, how to talk to your legislative offices. And then on the right side, you'll have infographics, kind of like that will drop off with the offices. In fact, you can drop off the whole folder if you would like. You're also welcome to keep the folder. So we're going to have all of that for you. We are going to have a schedule that's also in the folder for, well, we'll probably actually send you that via email. So we're scheduling meetings for you right now, but if you've signed in with our WUFU form, and we're going to be doing that probably until the day before. So that's something we're probably going to have to give to you as you register, or send to you via email. Most of you will have just a few meetings. Some of you will have just one meeting with your representative and one meeting with your senator. Others might have a few other meetings if they're going with a group that is represented by more than just one or two representatives and senators. We will have t-shirts for those of you who signed up in time. And like I said, we will have all that documentation for you. If you wear something, if you want to wear a suit or something like that, or dress nice and want to wear your t-shirt at some other time, that's fine too. If you want to put your t-shirt on while you're there, you might just keep in mind your clothing, wear something that will allow you to put your t-shirt on over it, or go into one of the bathrooms and change. I'm not sure about the bathrooms at the REJ Conference Center. I'm sure there are bathrooms. I'm just not sure how many, or how large they are. Okay, so we're going to get into some of our legislative priorities, but any questions before we do that? Okay.
Nothing yet.
Okay. So our legislative priorities they're within three categories. Our first category is strengthening homeless crisis response systems. And so what we've done is we've identified a few bills that we're prioritizing. And that's what we're going to present to you during the prep session. I will say that I think Craig provided a link to this too. We have a legislative priorities page on our website that has a larger number of bills that we're tracking than what you're going to see here. But these are the ones that we're prioritizing for our Homelessness Awareness Day. And as I'm going through these, you can ask questions about these, or if you have questions about other bills that you think fall into this category or the next two I'm going to go over, you can ask questions about that. Okay, so, and also I should say, if once you get this presentation, a few things are clickable within this. One of the things is you can click on the bill number and it'll bring you to the bill text. So this first bill, the Texas Tenant Readiness and Landlord Incentive Program, is one that we are prioritizing. It is going through Representative Wally's office. He's in Houston, and it is HB 1917. And this would provide funding that we could use to help voucher holders use those vouchers by incentivizing landlords so that they can use those vouchers. That money would go through TDHCA if this bill passed. So we'll have an infographic for you. You'll see it in a little bit, but you'll have the information as well. Also falling under this category, we have the expansion of the Texas Homeless Data Sharing Network. Some of you might know that we operate that data warehouse with 9 of the 11 COCs in Texas. We're asking for funding to expand it so that we can provide funding to those participating COCs, partly to help them make their data exchanges with us automated and therefore more frequent, so we can use the data to a greater capacity to serve people experiencing homelessness, and then also work with other systems of care to identify opportunities for those people. I know there might be questions, but I'll get through this.
I got it.
So this is, we're kind of in an odd situation with this. We're working through Representative Wally's office on this too. They are trying to get a bill number assigned to the language that we've provided that office for this purpose. So that's why you do not see a bill number beside this yet for Wally. There is a bill number assigned to Representative Campos from San Antonio. Her office also submitted a bill that's similar that has similar language to what we submitted to Wally's office. We're trying to work with the two offices to make the language consistent between what we think will become two bills. So we're using the basic language that we have for the bill that we provided Representative Wally. Hopefully before we get to the Capitol next Wednesday, we'll have bill numbers for both. Okay, questions on this? Oh, I thought there were.
No, I answered those.
Okay. We'll have a summary page that'll have this and the other categories on it that you'll be able to provide to the legislative offices. But in addition to that, we'll also have infographics like this. The artwork may not be the best. It's my attempt. So some of these infographics might change for the better. But we're going to have infographics like this, in color, things that you can leave behind, hopefully things that will draw the attention of that legislator's staff that you're talking to, and will be easy to read and understand. So we have one for HB 1917, the Texas Tenant Readiness Landlord Incentive Program, and then we also have one for the Data Sharing Network expansion. We're going to have these for several of the bills that we're prioritizing. We'll also send all of this to you electronically. Not after this webinar, though, probably right before HAD, but we're going to print everything for you. Okay, there is a question I don't know.
It's technical issues. I got it.
Oh, okay. Okay, the second category we have our priorities within is strengthening. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have more strengthening homeless crisis response system bills. We're also asking for, so there's money that goes to the 9 largest communities in Texas. It's homeless housing and services program funding. A lot of you are in those communities that receive that funding. That funding, it helps a lot. It helps over 14,000 individuals every 2 years. We would love to see that assistance increased. So we're asking in general for an increase in HHSP funds, but we're specifically asking for a 50% increase. I mean, we'd love a 300% increase, but we're trying to be realistic here and asking for a 50% increase so we can help out nearly, well, over 8,000 more people in those 2 year, in that 2 year time span. And you might hear this from some of the offices. Some of the offices are wanting to expand that program to other cities. They're wanting to expand it to cities that are 250,000 persons or more. Right now it's 285,000. If that happens, then increasing this funding is all the more important, because if they don't, then that's just going to dilute that funding even more, because they'll have to spread it even further. So that is very important. If we expand the number of cities this funding goes to, we definitely need to expand the amount of money. And we'll have this in talking points for you. You don't have to write all this down to remember it. We're also asking for, and this is through a budget writer, so it doesn't have a bill. We're asking for an expansion of the supportive housing rental assistance program. That's through HHSC. That's money that goes to our local mental health authorities. And right now we have 6 million in that budget. We're asking for that to be doubled to 12 million. That bill passed several sessions ago. That amount has remained static ever since. So as you can imagine, that money doesn't stretch as far as it used to. So that's why we're asking to double it. That, and because it's not stretching as far as it used to, we have a lot more people on wait list than what we had when it first passed. So we're asking for that to be doubled as well. And I think I have an infographic for that. No, I don't yet, but I will. So expect that, and hopefully it'll be a little bit better artwork. Okay, our second category of priorities falls under expanding affordable, accessible housing opportunities. One of the things that we're working on with Representative Goodwin's office, she's out of Austin, and hopefully Senator Johnson's office out of Dallas, is a bill that would provide homelessness prevention money to community college students. And we're looking at probably focusing on the 5 largest community college systems in the state of Texas for this program. This would provide up to, I think we ended up landing on $3,000 per student per year. So we could provide assistance up to that amount, so that if they're behind on rent, they need to pay some back rent or something related to them keeping their housing, we can help them out through these community college systems. That does not have a bill number yet. We're hoping it will by the end of the week, maybe by early next week, so that we can assign a bill number to that and provide you the link to that. That is something that is happening fairly last minute, so I'm a little concerned that it won't make through legislative council on time. If it doesn't, and it's not going to become a bill, we will take that off your list. But again, we'll have this up to date and ready for you when you get here on Wednesday. And then one of the big ways that we could expand opportunities is by allocating money through the American Rescue Plan Act, money that we still have not allocated through the state. So we're asking for 1.5 billion in emergency rental assistance, 10 million in landlord incentive payment program, 50 million to hire housing stability specialist, and then 20 million to provide more supportive housing rental assistance. Now you can see that this duplicates some of the requests we have through other bills that are previous to this, but this is funding that would only be used for the duration of that American Rescue Plan Act funding. I think a lot of people don't realize that there still is a large chunk of money that the state has not allocated, and none of that has gone towards, out of this chunk, towards housing, and we're asking for that to happen after this session. Okay, any questions?
We are good.
Oh, here's that infographic for the community college housing stability assistance program. This needs to be changed. It's not 1,000 anymore. Just in the past few days, we have upped that to, I believe, 3,000. We'll definitely have the final number for you soon. And just so you know, the reason this came about was because of data from two areas. Austin Community College students reported through a survey that 15% of them are experiencing or have experienced homelessness while enrolled in that community college. On top of that, the Dallas Community College system had a large number of people that were going through evictions over the past 2 years. And we had a high percentage, similar to percentage to Austin, that experienced homelessness. And in both of these cases, when they had that housing instability happen in their lives, and or when they became homeless, they had to quit going to classes, and a large percentage of those, right around 60%, never went back to classes and continued their work on their degree. So this is an effort to help those students stay in school and improve their economic situation for them and their families.
Eric, we do have a question coming in. Is there already assistance for state universities, or are we only focusing on community colleges?
There may be some state universities may have some assistance programs that I don't know of. We started with community colleges because of the data that we had received. And we're also trying to be strategic. We think that community colleges, because they spread basically throughout the state, and they're in urban areas and suburban areas and rural areas, that we could get a lot of traction with this program. So that's why we focused on community colleges. In truth, I would love for us to have a robust homelessness prevention program that would be helpful to anybody, whether they're in community college, one of the university systems, wherever, even if they're not in school. But we're starting with this because we think this could gain traction and be of interest to a lot of legislators, no matter their party or their location, urban, rural, or suburban. Does that answer the question? Okay. And we're posing it as a pilot program so we can demonstrate that this works, this keeps people in their housing and therefore in school, and then hopefully we can expand from that. Okay, I'll move on.
Yeah, that answered that question. You're good.
Okay. Here's our infographic for the supportive housing rental assistance program. Again, hopefully someone with some more artistic ability can do this, but if not, you might be left with this. I think this is respectable enough, but again, the idea with this is that we increase the funding, we double the funding, 6 million to 12 million. It'll help people get off these wait lists and into housing. And these are people that are receiving services through local mental health authorities. You can see that there is currently a very large wait list for this support. And this is a population, I mean, we don't want anyone on wait list. We want people to get services right away, housing right away. This is a population where that may even be more important. All right, so our last category of our priorities is target assistance to the most vulnerable Texans. I only have a few things on this, but I might add more. And unfortunately, what we're going to be doing with some of these priorities and that are going to be within this category that may not be on here is we're going to be talking about bills that would harm our work in trying to prevent and end homelessness, or how to fix legislation that has been passed in the past that does harm our ability to help people. So Bill HB 1148 by Representatives Rosenthal and Wally, both in the Houston area. What it would do is it would strike the law that was passed, I think, in the 85th session that prohibited municipalities from enforcing protections for housing voucher holders. So in the past, cities like Austin, I forgot it, I think Houston might have had it too. They had rules that disallowed discrimination by landlords on voucher holder lease applications. So people with housing vouchers would go ask to lease a unit, and because they had that housing voucher, they were rejected. These cities tried to rectify that by putting laws in place that said you can't do that. The state, in turn, passed a bill that said cities cannot enact those rules. So what this would do is reverse that. That's probably as clear as mud. So if anyone needs me to try to clarify that, I can. Essentially, what it would do is allow cities to go back and say, we want to protect these voucher holders and have them not be discriminated against because they are voucher holders. And then we have SB 199. It's Senator Eckhart. I need to put the legislators' names in this slide, and I'll do that. What it would do is it would ensure that for public facility developed programs, voucher holders could access units in there, and people could access those units at 30% or below median income. This would just provide more units to the population we're trying to serve. Again, I'm probably going to add a few more bills to this section and then have handouts for those to provide to you when you make your legislative visits. Okay, those are our three categories of priorities. In addition to having that and infographics and your script that'll show you what you can say, we're going to provide statistics to you. What you're seeing here is homelessness in Texas from 2017 to 2022. These are annualized numbers. So last year, at the end of the year, nearly 93,000 people came through our homeless response systems that are participating in our Texas Homeless Data Sharing Network. So this includes all shelter providers and supportive service providers using HMIS from Austin, Houston, Waco, Amarillo, El Paso, Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Texas Balance of State, and I'm forgetting someone, and I'm sorry. Brazos Valley. We do not have data from San Antonio or Wichita Falls in here, nor do we have data from any entity that does not use HMIS. So while that 93,000 number seems large, the actual number is much larger. And these are things we'll be giving you talking points about as well. These are annualized numbers. This is not point in time count. So if someone says, oh, I heard there's only 27,000 people experiencing homelessness, that's a point in time count. This is over the course of a year, people falling in and out of homelessness. In fact, you can see the green line represents the number of people that you and within your homeless response systems helped to move out of homelessness. The blue line are those that fell into homelessness. And then this is just a heat map, if you will. It's homelessness per capita. So it's homelessness per 10,000 people. So you can just get an idea of where per capita homelessness is greater than it is in other areas. We'll probably provide you a few other stats like this, but This is just a way to kind of get a snapshot of what's going on in the community. We also might provide you, I can't find it now. We might have a homelessness in Texas, a 24-hour snapshot like we've had in the past. We might provide that to you as well. And also I would take any suggestions on statistics that we could provide you. I think I might be just about done. Yeah. Any questions?
Nothing yet.
I can't believe I've actually been clear enough that there are not questions. That never happens to me. Let me ask you this. Oh, there's a question that popped up. But before he reads that, if you have never been to one of these, can you let us know just via chat? I won't pick on you. I just wondered if you ever done this or a legislative day at all. And it could just be yes or no. Okay, what's the question?
Aubrey's asking, do we already have resources already identified to support our legislative views, like maybe specific studies, for example?
Our legislative youth, did you say?
Views.
Views?
Legislative views, yeah.
Well, we're gonna have our infographics, we're gonna have our legislative priorities. We are gonna have a script that will provide you. Is that what you mean, Aubrey?
I think so, yeah.
I think I might be not answering that question. The overall focus is we are in favor of, we want to make sure to convey the benefit of bills that would help us prevent and end homelessness and the negative effects of bills that would maybe increase homelessness or make it harder for people to escape homelessness.
Eric, I know we're going to share statewide data. Do you think it would benefit to come with localized data?
Yes, yes, okay. And I should have mentioned that. So whoever asked that question, if it was you, Craig, thank you.
That was me.
If it was someone else, thank you. Please do that. And if you have stories from your agency, so I don't know if anyone from Sam's Ministries is on here, but if they're on here, like I know those folks and the people at Foundation Communities, New Hope. I mean, I could just go on and on about the places. Echo. Anybody that you work with, or any stories you have about people you worked with, obviously, you know, make sure that you keep it anonymous and you protect that person's identity. But if you have stories about how you've helped people or how people have overcome homelessness, those are always beneficial. And if you have local statistics, those are as well. And I wish I had the time to run those for every community that's participating. I just don't. And by the way, we can use what I just had to run statistics for individual communities as long as they have programs that use HMIS. I'm getting off the slide. It's that movement's making me sick. So not sick, just just kind of dizzy. Any other questions?
Not that I'm seeing.
A lot of people, this is the first time.
Mary's asking, where did the heat map data come from?
That is from, well, it's the same data. So if you go, let's see, this data for 2022 is reflected in there. So you can see it's Q4.
Yeah. And so specifically, that's the data sharing network data right there?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that our Mary asking that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good question too. You can, if you have the link to this, which I don't know if I can get to without taking it out of screen sharing, but
I just dropped the link to the actual data sharing page on our website.
Yeah, that page doesn't have.
Oh, you need that public portal, right?
There's a specific page for it. You know what? I can click out of here and go to it. I don't know if you all have to see all my open tabs.
Oh my God.
If you do, just be nice. Okay, I think we can switch views here. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm going to stop share. Actually, you know what? I'll share this page. So I'm going to drop you the link to this right there. I think you should be able to use it. I don't think you have to be a user of the data warehouse because this is public facing. But you can go through, and if you want to look at the different quarters, you can change it up by different populations. Then you can go down and you can look at different household types. You can look at the population by gender or race, things like that. It's pretty general information. You can't go through from your end and say, I just want to look at Bastrop, for example. But if you give us time, probably not before Homelessness Awareness Day, but if you reach out to us and give us time, we can pull data for those communities that look like this. Obviously, the number will be much smaller. Okay. Any questions?
Okay, at a glance, the map of Texas showing there's many counties not reporting homelessness. Is this because we are not getting that data, or there's not a significant problem?
Well, it's because we're not getting that data for the most part. If you have a very small population, we're not showing that right now because we're being very careful with that. Because you might see there might be some counties that you would think would be in here, but they have less than 100 people experiencing homelessness. So we're trying to be very protective of that group's privacy. I don't know if that helps answer the question or not, but for the most part, it's because we're not collecting that data. Again, there are some communities that aren't providing the data to us yet either.
Frederick, what's your question?
I think you might have had a question. Oh, this event's going to be held 1 week from today, on the 22nd. It is going to start at 10:30 at the REJ Conference Center. And I'm sorry, I should know this probably, but I don't even know what REJ Conference Center stands for. But if you type it in as REJ Conference Center, it'll pop up on your map. And it is going to be in Austin at that center and then at the Capitol. If you haven't signed up, Fredericks, although I think I've seen your name. If you haven't signed up, we can send you the Bluetooth link. There you go. I'm pretty sure I saw your name. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I saw your name more than once. So we're going to get you all set up for your meetings and everything. And have materials for you and everything. Any other questions, y'all? Well, so part of this is providing you info about the event, but we'll send out this PowerPoint as well, so you can use it to help find your way to the event. But then at the event is when we're going to give you all the materials. I'll do my best to try to get those materials out to registrants beforehand, but you don't need them beforehand because we're going to print them. And Mary makes a good point. Again, get there early if you can. You can come to the conference center as early as 9:30, probably a little earlier. It's not like we're going to kick you out, but you just might see me and Craig and a few others running around and setting up stuff. But it is important to get to Austin early to get parking. And yes, bring your colleagues. And you know what? I mean, even if they don't sign up to make visits, you can come participate in the prep session. You can come obviously participate in the picture, but then you can be there to support others that are meeting with legislators. We're going to try to set up group visits to around 6 people or less, because these are pretty small offices. Okay, any other questions?
I'm on the lookout. I'm not seeing anything yet.
There were a lot of people who signed up for this that aren't here. And there may be others that you know that are coming. So you can share this recording with them. We're going to try to show you the 2 timestamps that you can use if you just want to know the logistics. Now that part also I will send out via email, just so people know where to park and how to navigate their way to the conference center and then later to the Capitol.
Michelle's asking, so we'll not have any one-on-one meetings. It will all be groups.
It just depends on where you're from. If you're from Austin, you're going to be in groups because you have a lot of folks from Austin. And you're in Dallas, okay, you'll have a few less folks. So your groups might be smaller, but it just depends on who your representative or senator is. You may have people with you. I mean, if you want to, we could try to set up some time. But I will say 99% of the time you're going to meet with staffers and not the rep or senator themselves. So also keep that in mind. Okay. If you don't want to meet alone and would rather be in a group, we'll do our best to have someone with you, even if you don't have someone from your area that's in that representative's district or that senator's district. Okay. And you know what? It's a lot of people's first time doing this. And, you know, you're the people that they want to hear from. These staffers want to hear from people who do the work, or advocates who have lived experience that are from that district. And I've never met someone you can't talk to that works in those offices. There's genuine interest they have in their constituent stories. So whatever you go in there and talk about, I think you're going to be fine. And we have things for you to talk about, so you have a little bit of guidance on that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just visiting that's a big win by itself. But yeah, we'll try to make sure no one is alone. I can't promise it. And keep in mind, when you make the visits, and this is what I always say to people, you're the expert on homelessness or people at risk of homelessness. So when we were talking about that, they need to hear from you. So you're going to know more than they do about that situation, especially in your own community. I really appreciate you all taking the time, making the drive, dealing with the cost, everything to do this. It's really important. I really appreciate that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was sharing that screen. Sorry, RD. That's very good. Hopefully you guys all couldn't see it very well. Hopefully your eyes are as bad as mine. I'm sorry, everyone, about that. Okay, if there's nothing else, we can go ahead and yes, and Deanne's right. RD and everybody, if you're worried about it, we'll cut that part out of the video. Okay, thank you all. We'll see you next week, and Have a good rest of your week and safe travels.
Yeah, be on the lookout for an email from us with all these materials for today, and let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see y'all soon.
Bye.